So you ever spend hours trying to get that perfect AI landscape shot and it just comes out looking, I don't know, kind of fake? A little waxy, a bit plasticky, and just not believable? Yeah, if you've been there, trust me, you are not alone.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? You're going for this huge, sweeping, cinematic epic, but what you get back feels like a background from a video game. It totally shatters that feeling of immersion you were trying to create.
Okay, so what's the fix? How do we actually get past those generic renders and start creating something that's genuinely breathtaking, something truly cinematic? Well, that is exactly what we are going to break down right now.
We're going to walk through the exact three-phase workflow that the pros use. It's a simple and, more importantly, a repeatable process that takes you all the way from writing the prompt to that final polished shot.
And it all starts right here with phase 1, crafting the perfect prompt. This is your foundation. I mean, if you get this part right, you're not just rolling the dice and hoping for a good result. You're actually directing it.
So, the first big secret is something called the CCR format. That stands for Camera, Character, and Rig. And this is a total game changer because you stop telling the AI what to film and you start telling it how to film it. You basically become the director of your own virtual film set. And this comparison shows you exactly what I mean. On the left, cowboy and desert. Yeah, you'll get something, but it's going to look generic. On the right, though, you've specified the rig, a static tripod. That detail alone gives you a stable, intentional, and way more cinematic shot.
All right, the next pro move is to completely ditch what people call keyword salad. Just stuffing your prompt with words like 8K, hyper-realistic, photorealistic. That's actually an old technique, and these days, it can make your images look worse because the AI has gotten way, way smarter. So instead of that, find a real photo to use as a reference image. Maybe it's an actual photograph from the 1800s. When you use that, you're teaching the AI the exact color grade you want, the specific style of film grain, and even these tiny, subtle details like the look of 19th century dust. It's so much more effective.
Okay, so you've crafted the perfect prompt. Now let's move on to phase 2, which is all about mastering the AI engine while it's actually doing the generation. So now we're getting into the engine room, so to speak. We're going to look at 4 really powerful techniques here. How to choose the right model, how to get precise control over the motion, creating perfect loops, and even how you can build entire worlds using time-lapses.
First up, the model you choose matters a lot. When you're talking about pure cinematic realism, not all AI models are built the same. I mean, just look at the data here. In professional tests, the Kling 3.0 model scores a massive 8.1 out of 10 for realism. It's kind of in a league of its own. And a huge, huge advantage with this specific model is that it can generate clips up to 15 seconds long. Now, for those slow, majestic, sweeping landscape shots where you want to see the clouds drift or the heat shimmer off the ground, that extra time is absolutely essential.
So how do you actually control what happens in that 15-second shot? Well, the old way was just to hit generate and, cross your fingers. The pro way is to use the first and last frame feature. You give the AI a starting image and an ending image, and it figures out how to animate the whole thing in between. You get complete creative control.
And you can use this same exact techniques to create something really cool. Looping landscapes. This is perfect for ambient backgrounds. You just upload the exact same image for both your start and end frames, and then you just prompt for a little bit of subtle movement, like wind blowing through sagebrush. And boom, you get a perfect, seamless loop.
But you can take this even further with the time-lapse technique. Let's say you start with an image of a completely barren landscape, and for your end frame, you use an image of a frontier town that's being built on that same spot. The AI will generate this incredible time-lapse, showing the passage of time. It's an amazing tool for world building.
All right, so you've prompted like a pro, you've mastered the engine, but we're not quite done. Phase 3, polishing to perfection, is where you add that final layer of quality that really truly separates your work from everyone else's.
So here's the main problem we have to solve in post-production. AI often generates video at a lower base resolution. And what that means is that things in the distance, like mountains or trees, can look blurry, artifacted, or just, well, wonky. And that just ruins the whole illusion of realism.
The solution, thankfully, is pretty straightforward. You use dedicated upscaling software. These are specialized tools, things like Topaz Video AI or Starlight Precise 2, and you run your final video clip through them. They're designed specifically to clean up all those weird artifacts and sharpen the details, making your shot ready for a big 4K screen.
Now, this next part is so important. This is probably the #1 mistake I see people make. Whatever you do, never ask the AI to generate film grain for you in the prompt. Just don't do it.
AI models are just terrible at creating realistic grain. It always ends up looking like a blurry digital mess. The real pro move is to generate your footage completely clean, upscale it first to get maximum detail, and then you add a real film grain overlay in your editing software. If you set the blend mode to soft light, you get that perfect, authentic, gritty feel.
And just like that, you've gone from a generic render to a genuinely stunning cinematic shot. By following these 3 phases, you're not just a user anymore. You're a creator, taking complete control of the process.
So let's do a super quick recap of that workflow. First, you craft a super specific prompt using that CCR format and real reference images. Second, you master the generation by choosing the right AI model and controlling the motion. And finally, you polish your shot in post-production by upscaling it and adding a proper grain overlay.
When you follow this process, you really have an incredible amount of creative power at your fingertips. You now have the professional toolkit to build an entire cinematic world literally from scratch. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell with it?